Episode 21. You are listening to the new Glam Gal Podcast, the podcast where style meets confidence. Conquer the frustration of trying on clothes and learn to dress and love the body you are in. There are no size or weight requirements here. I'm your host, Miss J. Join me, won't you? Hey, Glam Gal. Welcome back to the podcast. So my mom has this really funny saying, and she used to say it to us all the time when we were younger. You know, when you're younger and you have this favorite outfit, maybe it's a t-shirt or a pair of jeans or a little dress that you're obsessed with, and you see no problem with wearing it all of the time. In fact, according to my mother, you start to look like a picture, like you're a walking picture because you're wearing the same outfit all of the time. And this phrase has sort of been adopted into my regular vocabulary. I have even found myself saying, I look like a freaking picture because I'm wearing the same outfit over and over again. And I know a lot of you also have your favorite items that you wear over and over and over again. Really, for the most part, this isn't a problem. But for some of you, it's caused you to feel like you're stuck in a style rut. You pick up the same shirt, the same pair of pants, or the same combination of things over and over again. You kind of think this is a problem, and maybe even some of your friends or family members mock you for it because you look like a picture. At some later point in time, I will discuss the benefits of having a daily uniform because I think there is some benefit to looking like a picture. However, this week I'm going to talk to you a little bit about brain science and why it is we go to the same things over and over again. This is true of our clothing choices as well as some of the decisions and thoughts that we have in life. So I like to refer to my brain, the limbic part of my brain, which is also called the lizard brain, as Tallulah. Why do I do this? Because sometimes I find it's helpful to look at some of the thoughts I'm thinking from an objective point of view. And the best way to do that in my world is to give that a name. And if I can give it a name, I can look at it objectively as something separate and apart from myself. I fully acknowledge that there is really no Tallulah. It's just me and my thoughts. But if I can separate who I am from my thoughts, I have an easier time looking at them, objectifying them, being aware of them so that I can change them. Humans have pathways in our brain that we have carved by thinking the same thought and feeling the same way and doing the same thing over and over and over again. There are these well-worn pathways in our brain, and wrinkly brains are supposed to be a good thing. So if we have a well-worn pathway, we essentially take a lot of the thought process, decision-making out of our daily lives and relegate it to this limbic system in our brain, which automates things for us. This is a good thing, like breathing and breathing while we're sleeping and remembering to eat. In fact, the limbic brain is in charge of several auditory processes. It's also a structural system that's in charge of anger and fear, aka survival, that fight or flight thing you hear about, eating and sex, aka pleasure, and memory storage. So we can create these well-worn pathways and circumvent the need to make a bunch of decisions. Our limbic brain's job is to make things easier for us. It's also its job to send up red flags and send us into fight or flight mode and to warn us of danger and also to ensure that we enjoy things like food and sex. So Tallulah has been given a lot of power. Tallulah has automated a lot of processes for me. And in a lot of ways, this is a good thing. Tallulah has warned me of danger and kept me alive. This is a good thing. But Tallulah also has in common the same brain capacity as a lizard. So, I have to take back control of a lot of things that I've automated and take back control from Tallulah. And based upon my conversations with you ladies, whatever name you want to give that part of your brain, that mean girl, that inner critic, those go-to thoughts you have in the morning where you feel like you're stuck, the part of your brain that asks you those terrible questions like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so fat? How come I can never be stylish? That part of your brain, we have to take control back. Because you also have a prefrontal cortex, unlike a lizard, where you don't have to automate your brain processes and you can actually think about your thoughts. What allows us to say Tallulah versus my prefrontal cortex is all of the processes in your prefrontal cortex. It's your higher brain functioning. The ability that we have as humans to look at our own thoughts objectively, to think about our own thoughts, to actually observe ourselves and observe our thoughts. Now, for a lot of us, because we've relegated so much power and authority to our lower brain, we're not even aware of the thoughts we're thinking. We don't even know the ish that your Tallulahs are coming up with because we never really stopped to listen to her. We never stopped to really evaluate the stuff she's throwing up at us. Now, I've gotten to the point where I listen to my brain. I do a thought download. I write down all the thoughts that I'm thinking and I look at it objectively. It used to be that I wouldn't look at it objectively. I would do a thought download. I would do the journaling because it's so popular to do a journal. But then I would judge all of the thoughts that I was thinking. I would sit in a place of judgment and my inner mean girl would crop up as opposed to observing with compassion the thoughts that I was thinking, which is the real way to change your thoughts. I was judging them. So I was playing both the victim and the villain to myself all the time. And when I started to really step back and think, well, this part of my brain is trying to keep me safe, and to look at it from that perspective, then so much changed for me. I would become amused by some of the things my brain would come up with. Thoughts like, who do you think you are? You can't do that. Why bother? What's wrong with me? Asking myself all of those unuseful questions because I was so used to asking them without even being aware of them. Just like I was so used to going to the same tired old pair of black pants and the shirt that happens to fit and be clean every single day. I had relegated my sense of style and what little confidence I had or could muster every day to my lizard brain. I gave all that power over to Tallulah, and I stopped thinking about how I was thinking about myself. I stopped evaluating how I felt about myself. I stopped evaluating what decisions I was making for myself every day. And trust me, we're all making decisions every day about how we treat ourselves, how we dress ourselves, what we choose to eat, how we choose to move our bodies, what we choose to think about ourselves. This leads to how we feel about ourselves and the overall picture of who we are. I was so worried about getting from one activity to the next. I was always action, 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 that I never stopped to ask myself how I was feeling or what I was thinking. And guess what? My Tallulah totally rebelled. She got my attention. And I had some pretty bad bouts of depression and anxiety because I was resisting all of this stuff for so long. I didn't want to think about it. And I was forced to stop and evaluate how I had been thinking and feeling and treating myself for a very, very long time. Just like I ask you on this podcast to stop and think about what you're wearing, what you're feeling about it, and how all of those little micro decisions and those little micro actions we take every day lead to an overall picture of our style and our confidence and how we show up in the world. And yeah, a lot of us are running around looking like a picture. It's the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same actions, the same outfit, day in and day out for years and years and years and years. So Glam Gal, Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to start thinking about all of the little micro decisions, those little thoughts that you think, those little feelings that you have, that you've relegated power on an automated response system. You can call her Tallulah. I have a friend who calls her Delilah. I have another friend who calls her Brenda. Pick a name, whatever works for you. But start to think about the fact that you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings. You can actually separate the human you are from those things and evaluate the thoughts you're thinking, the thoughts you're feeling, and ask yourself, do I want to put these on today? Just like an outfit. Do I want to put on that go-to pair of black pants? Do I want to put on that same old white shirt? Do I want to put on the same black suit jacket? And the answer may be yes. But the difference is you're now thinking about it. You can go from looking like a picture and being a picture in your thoughts and your feelings and your actions to choosing something else. You could be a fabulous flip book with all kinds of pictures. I want to offer you that you don't have to think the same thoughts. You don't have to think the same feelings. You don't have to take the same actions. You don't have to put on the same outfit every day. You have a choice. And perhaps for most of you, that's where the big breakthrough is. That's where the big shift is to remind yourself that you have a choice. You can take all of this off of autopilot anytime you choose to. And one thing I encourage all of my clients to do when they first work with me is to start writing down your thoughts and to watch yourself try to stand in judgment. Like if you're the fashion police all of a sudden and you're going to be extra judgy-wudgy, because my Tallulah is kind of fabulous and she throws some really shady remarks, but they're kind of funny and I appreciate her sometimes. Like, ooh, boo, boo, really? You're going to wear that? Really? And I laugh because I'm like, well, oh, fine. Jeez. And sometimes she's right, sometimes she's not. You get to decide. You get to decide if your brain is going to throw shade, whether you accept that or not, or giggle at it. You have a choice. But we won't know what you're thinking unless we actually write it down and evaluate it objectively. Now, a lot of you will have the tendency to sit in your car and be like, what am I thinking? And think that's sufficient. No, we need it down on paper. We need you to actually look at it, confront it. If you just keep it in your brain, what happens is you're going to want to change the thoughts as you're thinking them, and that's not the goal of this. The goal is to take it out and put it on paper just like old school pictures before everything was on your phone. Pretend you're printing out a picture. We're taking a snapshot of your brain in time. What are you thinking? And do this over time, and you can see how you've been walking around like a picture. You've been thinking the same thoughts for a really long time. And that's created a sense of feeling that you've been walking around with for a really long time. And then you'll start to see how that's been directing your actions for a really long time. And at a certain point in time, when you're ready, you can decide to crumple up that picture of your thoughts and your feelings and create something different. And I'm here for you. Because you are the hero in this journey. And I'm just here to be your guide, to walk alongside you, to look at your thoughts with you, to offer you some potential new ones. So, Glam Gal, are you ready? Don't journal just for journaling's sake. You have a mission. You're going to look at those thoughts so you can change them when you're ready. Now, in terms of style homework this week, I want you to consider for this next week asking yourself when you go to put on an outfit, do I like this outfit? Do I want to put it on? Am I just walking around like a picture? Very powerful thoughts, because you might find that most of the outfits that are your go-tos, you don't even like, and you don't want to walk around like a picture. And you can change that in an instant by making a different choice. And that choice would be led by a new thought, which created a new feeling, which led you to a new outfit. Challenge yourself. When you go to pick up that pair of jeans and you smell them to see if they're clean, and then you go to your favorite sweater and you just throw it on over your head because you're like, forget it, I just got to get through today. Stop. Challenge yourself. Tallulah, boo-boo. Do we really want to wear this outfit? Do we want to look like a picture? And she may throw crazy stuff up at you. That's okay. The goal is always awareness first. Now, I would love to see what you are all up to. I would love to hear what your Tallulah throws at you. And we'll talk about Tallulah more as the episodes go on because it's pretty funny, the stuff she says. And I think if you can get to a place where you're amused by all the things your brain throws up at you to keep you safe, you can move past it. It's not a place of judgment if you're being amused and curious. And I want to offer to you that is available. So, Glam Gal, your mission is twofold this week. You're going to journal, see what you're thinking, and second, ask yourself, do I want to look like a picture? All right, use the hashtag #NewGlamGal on Instagram so I can spy on you and see what you're up to. Always feel free to message me on Instagram, Facebook, or just sign up for a free style session already, and we could do this one-on-one where you have me all to yourself for 30 minutes. And trust me, there's no pressure there. How you hear me on the podcast is how I am in real life. All right, have a great week. Miss J out. P.S. If you're enjoying the podcast, please feel free to tell a friend. Also, leave me a review on iTunes so that other Glam Gals can find the podcast. All right, Miss J officially out.